Hello, welcome to another episode of the Global Podcast. Today, I am talking through a hybrid lift and run program. Expect to learn today how I would structure a lift and run program. I give the number of strength versus endurance sessions and when I would do different depending on what I'm focusing on. I will go through when I would put the elusive leg day amongst endurance or running events. I will talk about the interference effect. Does cardio gains affect our muscle gains? Expect to learn about recovery, what we can do to fuel ourselves and to be ensured that our strength sessions aren't affected by endurance, and some tips and tricks onto how to balance volume and intensity in the strength workouts. If you like these kinds of episodes, let me know. I can certainly dive into more of the details of both the strength and endurance programs and workouts, but at least for now, laying down the foundations, the structure, giving you tips to balance both, and in future episodes, dive deeper and deeper. So sit back, relax. It is a solo episode with me. Let's go. This is exactly how I would break up a hybrid training routine where you're lifting weights for muscle mass and strength, and also specifically running for endurance. Think 10 kilometers, half marathon, marathon, and beyond. You have 7 sessions in the week. You have to pick, what am I going to focus on, strength or endurance? We're going to do both at the same time. However, you're going to pick one to be in slight bias of. The one that you're going to be in bias of or focus on is going to be 4 sessions, and the one that you're going to be less focused on is going to be 3 sessions. So for example, let's take that strength was going to be your primary focus. You will lift 4 sessions a week. You will run 3 times a week. In those 4 sessions, you can choose any single body split that you would like, high frequency, low frequency. It all doesn't quite matter as long as volume remains relatively the same compared to program XYZ, whatever have you. Geez, that's a whole podcast in itself, a whole YouTube video. The other 3 sessions you're going to be running, I would include a faster run, a speed session, a zone 2, easy run, recovery, and then a weekend long run. That can be as long as you would like or your time or lifestyle allows. So we've got the run and we've got our lifting. Now let's think about where we're going to put them in with each other. Now running smacks our legs. So the only real workout that we have to really consider in terms of balancing load or intensity is the leg day of the 4 strength sessions. So where would you put that in? There's 2 spots where I would put it in. One is I would put it on the same day as your speed run session. The reason why I might implore this, and it takes some conditioning to get there, is that sometimes in hybrid training, we just fizzle out our training load a little bit too much so that our legs are constantly getting hammered, but I don't really have a clean full day or two to soak up that recovery and fully recover to 100%. So that is one tactic. Else, what I would do that speed run session on, say, a Tuesday, give 2 days of recovery from that, hit legs on a Thursday. And if you're hitting legs in the gym on a Thursday, you would still have 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of recovery before your typical Sunday long run. So in that scenario, you are balancing out that training load. However, what you're doing is you're still giving that 3 days of recovery from your leg day before that weekend long run rolls around. So that's how your training split might look like from that respect and where you would put that leg day. Cool. So how you make up your strength sessions is up to you at this point. Let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about the interference effect. So there was a effect called the interference effect, brainwave, that suggested that the cardio or endurance activities that we would do kills your muscle gains, kills the hypertrophy. So that, after a while, has come to our knowledge that that interference effect is far less significant than we thought. Essentially, we can still perform cardio endurance activities while still building the same muscle mass or strength or close to. However, there are always caveats. What will impact your gains in the gym, though, is your recovery. If your endurance is bleeding, your endurance recovery is bleeding into your strength workouts where you don't have the energy and thus you don't have the intensity behind your workouts to push, progress, continually overload, then it will halter some of your gym gains. If you're not fueling it properly, if you are doing endurance events and not backloading those carbohydrates or eating enough quality food to have optimal recovery, that's going to affect our strength of the muscle. If you're doing that scenario of the 4 lift sessions and 3 runs, if you're training 10 hours a week, there are going to be times where shit pops up. And if you're missing a strength session because you've decided that, I'm going to lift and run 7 days a week, there's no rest day for me because I don't need it, something's going to pop up. So that Saturday afternoon where you're going to do shoulders, birthday's come up, I'm not hitting shoulders. So by not hitting shoulders, you're not amassing those same gains than you would have if you had done that workout, if you had that stimulus. So there's a bit of give and take. So to that scenario of 4 lifts and 3 runs, what I would say, I've done this myself and with clients, is just pick a day that you're going to have a rest day. So if you're having 7 sessions over 6 days, one of those days you're going to do a double workout, like an endurance and a lift on the same day. And that's just going to give you the buffer of something's going to come up. It's very hard to be disciplined to 7 training sessions over 7 days and not miss any, right? Especially in this hybrid run and lift antagonists that they are. So choose to work out 6 days a week. So you've got a day backup. And a day backup, just complete rest, is probably good for the mind just to reset yourself anyway and eat and potentially have a sleep in. Another thing I would say is if you have an endurance focus, so let's flip it. We're doing endurance 4 times a week and running 4 times a week and lifting 3 times a week. You can still hit yourself with the 3 times lift sessions. I would suggest to move closer to a full body type of workout because then you can hit that frequency more often. So if you can hit chest over 3 days and you adjust your volume and intensity to suit, you're hitting it over 3 days, which might help you keep your volume up. So I alluded to at the very beginning that whatever strength or bodybuilder split that you do, if volume is maintained, generally speaking, there's not too much difference between lifting a body part once, twice, thrice, 4 times per week. I guess there is suggestions that 2 to 3 times might be better than 1. But when you're doing it over 3 sessions, you can choose when you're going to go hard on a particular body part. So upper A, I might be doing a full upper body workout. However, I'm focusing on my chest. My chest is going to go first. So my chest is going to probably get the most stimulus because I'm freshest, I'm hitting it hardest, and then exercise number 3 is probably going to start fatiguing on. And then what you can do is that exercise 3 that you put a little bit on the back end, that next upper session, you can do that body part first. So you're hitting it with harder, more intensity. And I found that whilst doing that, we can have more quality, effective sets by doing, when we're really just reducing down to 3 sessions and we're prioritizing endurance, because the recovery side is going to bias to the endurance based on the more load there. Those strength sessions, you're going to feel it, that you're going to just be a little bit more tapped out. And so by having this full body type of workout, hitting the body parts multiple times, you've got more opportunities to hit that body part fresh with more intensity then you would then just be putting all your eggs in the basket to Tuesday is the back day that I just did a hard speed session on in the morning and now I'm training again at night. Fuck, my back's going to be a little bit on the fatigue side because I've rezapped myself in the morning. So that's one little tip I would say. What else is there? When you are coming up to a typical run event, let's say you're training up for a marathon, half marathon, you're still hitting legs. The thing to be just conscious of is that running and lifting, they're antagonists. They don't support each other necessarily. Obviously, there is a positive health effect of cardio and endurance on just our general health and wellness. But in terms of lifting hard in the gym, not so much. So when you're training legs pretty hard, bit bodybuilder bro style, high sets, high volume, high intensity, at some point in your run race program, the inflection point of, hey, look, the volume on the leg day has to come down. And potentially it comes down to the point of only a few sets per week, which might be either at maintenance or slightly less maintenance to hold strength and muscle mass that you'd like. But what that's going to do, it's going to allow you to run harder, longer, to really focus on the endurance event. So being honest with yourself is that you're not hitting a squat PB the same week as the marathon. There is certainly an interference effect when things like that are done. So what I choose is about 6 weeks out from my run event, my leg day volume just starts dropping back. Each week, I'm just dropping off a couple sets. And then when it gets to about 2-3 weeks out, I'm doing only a few sets. I'm keeping my body mobile. I'm still moving through my movements under load, but it's not causing the stress that it once did. And then I'll find that my legs feel fresher, faster, snappier for my running. And I completely understand that by lifting up to 6 weeks out, I am leaving some endurance on the table because of all of those sessions that I had prior in those previous weeks where I was holding that hybrid, lift and run lifestyle. So there's my ramblings. That is how I would, one, structure a hybrid lift and run program, where I would place that leg day, and 3, where I would think the interference effect of recovery affecting either strength or endurance plays a part, not necessarily strictly that cardio kills the gains, but it's a bit more context on that. So there's a little short potty YouTube video for you. And thanks for listening, watching, and talk to you soon.